And now, please welcome to the stage Grant Callen, founder and CEO of Empower Mississippi.
Thank you. Welcome to Unleash Mississippi. We could not be more excited that you're here. This is going to be a great afternoon, and we are so honored that you would give us your time and come spend a half a day with us. I promise you it will be worth your time. So buckle up. We got 3 panels, another great conversation after that, and a reception after that. Let's talk about our panel. So the first panel is going to be about education. And our panelists are going to talk about an exciting education innovation that is sweeping the nation, education savings accounts. Our second panel is all about the Benjamins. We're talking about tax policy, and this state has already been leading the nation in modeling what it looks like to cut our taxes and create a more robust, thriving economy. And our panelists are going to talk about what are the next generation of reforms that we can enact that will help more people find jobs and more people flourish. And then our third panel for the day is going to be about a topic that is top of mind for a lot of families: safety. How do we make Mississippi safer? How do we fight crime? And how do we reduce the impact of our justice system on our citizens? We already have the highest incarcerated population in the country. And after that, I know you will want to stick around for our keynote conversation with Ian Rowe. Ian is an author, a scholar, a charter school founder. I have been a fan of his work for a long time, and when I read his new book, Agency, I knew we had to get him to Mississippi. So stick around for that. After that conversation, we're going to have a reception. So if you have questions for our panelists, they're going to stick around to engage with you during the reception. So please hold your questions. We'll have time for you to engage with them at the reception. Now, a couple of housekeeping things. We will have a 10-minute break after the first 2 panels. But if you need to stretch your legs during the program, feel free. We have coffee and snacks in the back and water. This is a social media friendly event. So please feel free to take pictures, post them on social media. If you will use hashtag UnleashMS, you will be entered to win some great Empower swag or a couple of signed copies of Ian Rowe's book, Agency. So we're going to be watching the social media channels to see your post come through. Now, last year we kicked things off with a sit-down conversation with Governor Reeves. He couldn't be here today. However, he recorded a video for us, and I ask you to help me welcome remarks by the governor of the great state of Mississippi, Tate Reeves.
Hey there, it's Governor Tate Reeves, and it's a pleasure to speak with y'all today. I want to thank everyone in this room for your tireless commitment to Mississippi. Every single day, we are taking another step forward as a state. Mississippi has momentum, and this is Mississippi's time. The folks in this room are a big reason why. Together, we've seen a lot of success over the last few years. We've had the lowest unemployment rate in Mississippi's history. We've invested millions in workforce development to prepare Mississippians for the jobs of the next 50 years. We've had historic education gains that some are calling the Mississippi Miracle. Our state is leading the nation in 4th grade reading and 4th grade math gains. We were recognized as a top 5 state for high quality pre-K. And we have record high school graduation rates that are better than the national average. This success wasn't by accident. It is because of the sound reforms that we have made together that we were able to achieve these victories. We recognize that a good education is the secret ingredient to a good life. And we want every Mississippian, no matter their zip code or their background, to have the best education possible. But there's more work to do. There are more challenges to overcome. And policy discussions like the ones you're having today at Unleash Mississippi are helping to lay out the ideas and strategies that can further bolster our state. We're going to continue fighting to eliminate our state's income tax. We're going to continue fighting to expand educational freedom and deliver more jobs for Mississippians. Together, we can make it happen. To Grant and the entire team at Empower, Thank you for your continued work. I look forward to all that we will accomplish together in Mississippi. Again, thank you all for everything you're doing for our great state. God bless.
I appreciate the governor in those remarks. I want to take just a moment before our first panel and sort of frame our conversation for today. The governor's right. This is a big moment for Mississippi. We've just ended a 4-year term. Another 4-year term begins in January. We have new lawmakers coming in. This is the moment for us to think about what kind of change do we want to make for the next generation of Mississippians. If you listen to some people, you might think that our state is in crisis, or that every decision our lawmakers have made over the last few years has been in error. But if you listen to another set of people, you might think we have solved every problem and everyone is flourishing. And I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. We have made, particularly in the last decade, tremendous gains. And yet, we have a lot of work to do. We have grown our economy. We have improved our education system, and yet we still have challenges in both areas. Let's look at some of these progress and things we have yet to do. Governor mentioned the Mississippi Miracle. The Mississippi Miracle is real. We have more children in Mississippi that are learning to read than ever before. And we have become a model for other states for how to implement great literacy reforms. And yet, even with all of our success, when you look at the data, 2 out of 3 fourth graders are not proficient in reading, and 4 out of 5 fourth graders in Mississippi are not proficient in math. So we've made great progress. We're celebrating. We've got more work to do. When you look at the fiscal side of the equation, our lawmakers have really spent the last few years working to get our fiscal house in order. We have a fully funded rainy day fund. And in the recently ended fiscal year, we had a $700 million surplus. And yet, even in the last decade, state spending grew by 10%, even after adjusting for inflation. And we have more employees that work for the government in some capacity than all but 3 states in the nation. So that's a ton of people that are dependent on the state. We have the best, lowest unemployment rate than we've had in our state's history at 3%. And yet, we have one of the worst labor force participation rates in the nation. That just means of the people that are looking for work, they're finding it, but there's not enough people looking. Mississippi has the highest percentage of African Americans of any state in the nation. And I think this is a real asset for our state. It would be impossible to calculate all of the incredible cultural contributions that Black Mississippians have made to make this such a great, thriving state, the state that we all love. And we have made great strides in racial reconciliation and working to make sure this is a state that works for everybody. We want this to be a place where everyone has opportunity and justice for all. And yet, earlier this year, 6 white law enforcement in Rankin County went into a home unprovoked and attacked, sexually assaulted, and committed horrific acts of violence against 2 black men, Eddie Parker and Michael Jenkins. One of these members of law enforcement actually put a gun in Michael Jenkins' mouth and pulled the trigger. I'm thankful, praise the Lord, both of these men survived, but the wounds they carry today will likely be with them until the next life. This story sounds kind of like it came right out of the 1950s, but it didn't. It happened this year in Mississippi, not too far from this room. So we have made tremendous progress, and yet we got a lot more work to do. That's what this is all about. There's a common thread that runs through all of our panels today and runs through all the policy proposals that Empower advocates for at the Capitol. And that is, We believe in the innate dignity of every person. And if you believe in that, I think you need to support policies that rely on earned success. You know, there's something deep in the human psyche that wants to earn our own success. And when you study happiness and what is the traits of people that flourish, the most happy people on the planet are people that report they earned their own success. So what does that mean for policymakers or policy professionals? It means we've got to pass policies that give people a path to create a life of purpose and meaning for themselves. That means it's probably not going to look like quick fix and handouts. It's going to look like creating opportunity and giving people the power to climb themselves. That's what is the thread that you will see through all these conversations today. So, if you're listening today, I hope you will ask yourself as you listen, what can I do in my sphere of influence and in my relationships to help people rise? If you're a lawmaker, a member of the media, community leader, or citizen, I hope you'll ask yourself, what can I do to tear down barriers and help give people opportunity? Thank you for being here. Welcome to Unleash Mississippi.